Yeah, I'll have a milkshake. Flavor gunpowder. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios, your home for reviews, reactions, and of course, ridiculousness. I found it, I got it. But we're talking about a Netflix movie that has milkshakes and gunpowder and you smash them together. Karen Gillan's in it, called Gunpowder Milkshake. To protect an 8-year-old girl, a dangerous assassin reunites with her mother and lethal associates to take down a ruthless crime syndicate. So is this a delicious mixture of action and bubblegum pop, I guess? Let's find out. But before I get into my thoughts, let me know what your thoughts were of Gunpowder Milkshake. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know all of your comments in the comments down below. Now, let's get into some of the good. Gunpowder Milkshake. I was looking forward to this movie because just from the name, the trailer, the neon lights, and the posters and whatnot of these females kicking ass, I was looking forward to this. And the one thing that very much instantly stuck out to me was the style and kind of the world building that they had going for this movie. It feels like Bad Times at the El Royale mixed with Hotel Artemis, mixed with a hint of John Wick as well, but keeping it more on kind of a light-hearted tone. And that's what I liked here, of kind of this, again, bubblegum pop, but also some kick-ass action. So kind of that weird mixture of style, very much stylized in the different scenes, the characters, the atmosphere of this movie, but the world building as well. When we get into kind of the library, it feels like the Continental from John Wick, of all of these different characters, curating these books that are essentially weapons for our main character, instead of, you know, John Wick, where it's the sommelier essentially giving them the guns. It's books this time around, and each of the different older women, no disrespect there at all, but them curating each of these kind of books or weapons or things, supplies essentially, to our main character of Karen Gillan, I was very much on board for. But then taking all of those people that I just talked about and a few other characters here or there, the action sequences, specifically the very last bit of watching all of these females just kicking ass, from knives to weapons to brass knuckles to a lot of other kind of scenery used as weapons. I was on board. I had a fun time with that kind of end sequence of almost letting loose, letting the milkshakes flow. I'm getting way off topic. Basically letting these females just kick some ass was something that I was looking forward to, and I'm glad that we got that at the end of this film. However, oh my goodness gracious, these milkshakes did not go down the way I was hoping. I found out I was lactose intolerant because this movie, the tone was the biggest thing that was so inconsistent for myself. Again, from the very beginning, that style. I thought that that was what we were going to lean into, kind of, you know, the happy-go-lucky, this kind of almost 50s flair, but very much being badass and kicking ass, you know, a John Wick tone, if you will. Rather, this does this weird balancing act where it doesn't balance, but rather it goes like this and it goes like this, very much being uneven in sequences. Where are we leaning into the comedy, the obscurity, the almost slapstick material, almost comical, cartoony nature of the world, the characters, the situations? Or are we leaning into the seriousness, the action, the broodiness, the emotional connections or emotional moments between characters that maybe hadn't seen each other in a long, long time, or there was a rift between those characters, and it felt, again, like this very odd balancing act where it never really hit equilibrium. Rather, it was way too much, way too little, and vice versa between the two. So that tone just did not work for myself, and bringing in the jokes, again, with it very much being comedic at times, a lot of the jokes that they were, you know, hoping for, again, comedy is subjective. I'm gonna be, you know, a parent, I'm gonna show my hands there. It felt so out of place, where it was very kind of a dramatic situation or a dire situation of something dramatic very much happening, and it's a joke. The joke or bit was never 100% committed to, so it's this drawn out sequence of, is this supposed to be funny, or is this supposed to be this odd situation that's played into a more serious realm? because it felt odd. Again, not only did the tone not work, but the jokes that were being thrown into that tone, it did not work for me. Almost an identity that the movie was having a problem with, an identity crisis, bled very much into the story, the plot, and the action set pieces was the biggest thing for myself, because I didn't know if the action was supposed to be serious, again, that John Wick-esque, or almost slapsticky, because there's a lot of the action set pieces, the action sequences in this movie are so like cartoony and slapsticky that I'm like, is this supposed to be not only choreographed this way, but shot this way and edited this way, where it felt like the characters were at a wedding and they had taken dance lessons beforehand and they were literally counting out the steps of the choreography of 1, 2, 3 punch, 1, 2, 3 step, and it just felt like it wasn't a cohesive, fluent fight choreography. Instead, it felt very clunky and like you go, I go, you go, I go. But then also the way that they kind of sped things up a little bit, it felt even more awkward. Awkward is a good term for the way that the action plays out in this movie. Not every scene. I'm gonna be a parent. Not every single scene. Like I said, the very last bit with all of the women kicking ass, that worked for myself. But there's a lot of hand-to-hand combat, one being in a bowling alley and one being in a hallway of a hospital. None of it worked. The choreography was and the comedy just didn't lend to that. Like, there's this one where, you know, a gimmick essentially of Karen Gillan's character not being able to use her hands, and it almost came off as just, what is happening here? The cherry on top of the milkshake, if you will, is the way that kind of the plot plays out, or motivations, or things that happen to our main character seem very, they shouldn't have happened the way they did. It feels very kind of paper thin, if you will, of why the character is caught in the situation that she is, because when you kind of step back from the situation, when you start asking some questions, it doesn't really feel apparent or reasonable as to why our character gets into kind of the scrambles that she does. Almost miscommunication. That's kind of what it is, where the plot has miscommunications between characters and just the plot itself and other pieces of the plot that feel like it's kind of ramping up things that didn't need to be, whether it be where our character is or kind of relationships with potential other characters of how the plot plays out. Overall, Gunpowder Milkshake is this delicious milkshake that you discover is soy milk. With it again having this unique style and world building to the max that I was on board for, but everything really kind of melting away from this delicious milkshake, from the action to the weird tone to the plot points that didn't really feel like they needed to be there. Honestly, this overall kind of cartoony Looney Tunes flavor running through the movie that just did not work for myself. I had high hopes for this movie. I was looking forward to this movie, and this movie was how every parent tells their child something in their younger years of, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And Gunpowder Milkshake, I am disappointed. In closing, I'm going to give Gunpowder Milkshake 2.4 out of 5 delicious ice cream treats. So what did you all think of Gunpowder Milkshake? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you drink this up? Deliciousness all in your tummy and you want to see more of this? I want to know in the comments down below, because guess what, people? I am not drinking any more of this. Anyways, though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there. You know, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. Be sure to watch all my stuff, like my stuff down there. Follow JBuck Shorts YouTube channel and my TikTok channel as well for all sorts of great stuff. Like this video, subscribe to the JBuck Studios channel, and until next time, we'll see you later.